Some crimes happen in the blink of an eye, and cameras catch every shocking moment. In Japan, security footage reveals unexpected crimes that shake calm streets.
Showing two drivers getting into the middle of a shootout on a busy highway.
But the story doesn't end there. Real crimes caught on camera happen all around the world, too.
Those flash mob robberies, a few popular stores being ambushed across the country.
From daring thefts to chilling acts, these videos show how danger can strike anywhere. Watch closely as we explore gripping crimes from Japan and beyond. Get ready to see the truth unfold before your eyes. Street justice in Kabukicho. Kabukicho, Tokyo's busiest nightlife district, is always buzzing with energy. But one night, that buzz turned into sheer violence. Security cameras captured a chilling scene. A group of thugs ambushed a man inside a small shop. Without warning, they dragged him out onto the street and launched into a vicious assault. Punches and kicks flew as the victim was beaten down in front of shocked onlookers. The attack was fast, brutal, and left the man helpless on the ground. Just when it couldn't get any worse, one of the attackers spotted a passerby recording the incident on their phone. He didn't hesitate. He stormed over, grabbed the person, and forced them to delete the footage. No hesitation, no fear. He wanted to erase the evidence right then and there. Meanwhile, the rest of the gang casually pulled out stolen wallets and phones, showing off what they'd just taken. It was clear this wasn't just random street violence. It was targeted, aggressive, and heartless. But what the gang didn't know was that the entire thing had been caught from above. Multiple security cameras had recorded everything in sharp detail, from the first punch to the last stolen item. The footage spread fast, and within days, authorities tracked down the suspects. Their attempt to silence one camera failed because another kept rolling. That night, Kabukicho saw the ugly side of gang violence, and thanks to the city's eyes in the sky, justice came knocking. Before we move on, check this out. This unsettling footage, captured by a hidden security camera in Osaka, Japan, went viral in 2017. It shows a father confronting his daughter inside an elevator after a heated dispute over money. The tense video sparked international outrage, but police later clarified it was part of a domestic violence awareness campaign that was mistakenly leaked and misrepresented. Was this necessary activism or a step too far? Comment below. The Joker train shooting. What started as a regular day on Tokyo's Keio line quickly turned into a scene from a nightmare. A man dressed as the Joker quietly boarded the train. Then, without warning, he pulled out a gun and started shooting. Panic broke out instantly. Passengers screamed and scrambled for cover, trying to escape the sudden violence. The attacker fired multiple shots, injuring 6 people before the train finally came to a stop. Smoke and chaos filled the air as frightened passengers ran, hid, or tried to help the wounded. The attack was chillingly planned, inspired by the idea of becoming infamous like the villains he admired. His goal was to spread fear and cause destruction. Instead of the notoriety he sought, the man was sentenced to life in prison. No spotlight, no cheers, just endless days behind cold, silent walls. That day left a deep scar on Tokyo. The Joker's shooting on the train shocked the city and reminded everyone how fragile safety can be. The massage that ended in threats. In the late-night streets of Japan, things can go from calm to chaotic in the blink of an eye, and this one started with a massage gone wrong. A man from Brazil had one too many drinks before walking into a massage parlor. Everything seemed normal until it came time to pay. He flat out refused. No cash, no apologies. Just a drunken dismissal like nothing had happened. But this wasn't the kind of place where people walk away without consequences. The woman who gave him the massage didn't argue. She made a quick phone call, and minutes later, a known Yakuza member arrived, calm, cold, and ready to handle the situation. The man, still slurring his words, suddenly found himself face to face with one of Japan's most feared criminal networks. The Yakuza didn't need to shout. Just standing there was enough. The message was crystal clear: pay up or deal with something much worse. Security footage captured the tension in full. the confrontation, the fear, the silent threat that hung heavy in the room. There were no punches, no violence, just a quiet, chilling kind of control. What started as a simple massage turned into a cold lesson about the hidden power structures on Japan's darker streets. The watch heist escape. A calm Tokyo evening flipped upside down when masked robbers hit a high-end watch store in the heart of Ginza. The scene was straight out of a thriller, but it happened live on the streets of one of the world's busiest shopping districts. 3 men wearing white masks barged into the store just after 6 in the evening on May 8th. Armed with a knife and a crowbar-like tool, they wasted no time smashing display cases filled with luxury Rolex watches. Over 100 priceless timepieces vanished in minutes, packed into bags before the thieves bolted. Outside, a passerby saw the chaos unfold. Without a second thought, he sprinted to the entrance and tried shutting the door to trap the robbers inside. Seconds later, a woman arriving from the opposite direction joined in, locking horns with one of the thieves in a tense struggle at the door. Both strangers tried to hold back the criminals, but the thieves pushed through, escaping into the night with their stolen loot. Their getaway was short-lived. The suspects made a reckless attempt to break into an apartment in Tokyo's Akasaka district. Tokyo Metropolitan Police caught up and arrested 4 suspects aged 16 to 19, including an 18-year-old high school student. 3 confessed, 1 denied involvement. All hailed from Yokohama, just south of Tokyo. Around the rented van used in their escape, officers recovered a black bag with about 30 stolen watches. Investigators are now digging into the connections between the suspects and the owners of the recovered watches. In Ginza, crime doesn't pay, at least not for long. So far, we've seen some petty offenses, but now get ready for the real serious crimes straight from Japan. Japan's most disturbing murders, 8 terrifying stories. The abduction of Anna Sato. A quiet town northwest of Tokyo, Osaka, was home to a seemingly ordinary 13-year-old girl named Anna Sato. Anna wasn't her real name. It was a placeholder to protect her identity. In 2014, she was a bright, well-behaved middle schooler, part of the student council, and passionate about ballet. Teachers said she had a bright future ahead, but everything changed on a cold Monday afternoon in March. School had just let out, and Anna walked home alone as usual, a common and safe practice in Japan. Yet, that day, she never made it back. Her parents searched everywhere, called her friends, but no one had seen her. A chilling letter arrived saying, "I'm taking a break from school and home. Don't come looking for me." It didn't make sense. Anna had left behind all her essentials and favorite things. Something was very wrong. Unbeknownst to her family, Anna had been taken by Kabo Terauchi, a 22-year-old man from Osaka. Kabo came from a wealthy family, was academically gifted but socially withdrawn, and obsessed with anime. He had long planned to abduct a young girl to study how captivity would change her mind and behavior. Using Google Maps, he scouted Osaka and spotted Anna walking home alone. On March 10th, Kabo tricked Anna outside her own home, claiming he was a family lawyer. He said her parents were divorcing and waiting for her at his office. She believed him. Instead, he drove her 25 miles east to his apartment in Chiba, where he kept her captive. He manipulated her with lies and a forged recording, convincing her her family wanted to harm her. For 2 years, Anna was trapped, locked in a room, drugged with hallucinogens, and psychologically controlled. Attempts to escape were met with cold rejection from those she sought help from, deepening her isolation. Then, on March 27, 2016, a miracle. Anna managed to call her mother from a public phone, sparking a rescue that ended her nightmare. Kabo was arrested shortly after and sentenced to 12 years in prison. Anna survived the ordeal but carries deep scars. Her story is a haunting reminder of the darkness hiding in plain sight. The dark web murderers! The darkest parts of the internet are not just mysterious, they can be deadly. In Aichi Prefecture, a dark web post set off a chain of events that ended in tragedy. Kenji Kawagishi, freshly released from prison and desperate, was looking for partners in crime. Using the name Yamashita, meaning Job of Darkness, Kenji was far from a typical criminal. His life had been a mess, bullied as a kid, plagued by health problems, with a history of fraud. By 2007, Kenji was living out of his car, drowning in debt, and willing to do anything for cash. 2 men answered his call. Tsukasa Kanda and Yoshi Tamori. Tsukasa, a troubled man with gang ties and past crimes, was in debt and unstable. Yoshi, a darts player with no criminal record, was over 4 million yen in debt. Together, the three hatched schemes to kidnap, rob, and even rob a pachinko parlor, Japan's version of a casino. On August 24, 2007, their plans turned deadly. Risa Isagi, a hard-working office worker with dreams of buying her mother a house, was walking home late after a long day. A man approached her, asking for directions, and before she could react, another man attacked. They forced her into their car, speeding off into the night. The next day, Risa's body was found in a remote mountain area, brutally beaten and suffocated. Shockingly, Kenji himself called the police to confess the crime, dragging his two accomplices into the nightmare. Paranoia overtook him, and all three were arrested within hours. In court, the men admitted their greed had driven them to this horrific act. They had boasted online about murders they never committed, until this one got out of control. In March 2009, the court sentenced Tsukasa and Yoshi to death. Kenji, who surrendered early, received life in prison. Risa's mother led a massive campaign demanding justice. Ironically, the killers never got her money. She had given them a fake PIN, and they couldn't remember it. This story is a brutal reminder of how greed and desperation can destroy lives and how the dark web can hide deadly secrets. The Sagamihara Massacre. This story is chilling. Satoshi Wamatsu caused 19 deaths and injured 26 people at a care facility in Sagamihara, a city just 40 kilometers from Tokyo. Once a military training ground, Sagamihara is now an industrial city with over 700,000 residents. Born in Tokyo in 1999, Satoshi's father was an art teacher and his mother a cartoonist. The family moved to Sagamihara when he was 1. At school, Satoshi was seen as a charming, funny kid who loved basketball, but by high school, trouble started. He shoplifted, damaged property, and even pushed a disabled person. He studied education at university, hoping to become a teacher like his father. However, his family had conflicts, especially over his large tattoo, a serious social taboo in Japan, where tattoos are linked to crime and gangs. After graduation in 2012, Satoshi worked part-time at Sukuyuran Garden, a care facility for disabled people. At first he seemed like a good worker, but things changed. He was caught hitting residents in 2014 and 2015. He resigned in early 2016. Just 2 weeks later, he shocked everyone by sending a letter to a politician, asking for the euthanasia of disabled people and warning about his plan to attack. On July 26, 2016, Satoshi broke into the care facility with knives and a hammer. He killed 19 residents and injured 26 more, attacking them mostly while they slept. Surveillance cameras recorded everything, but no one stopped him. Afterward, he posted a photo on Twitter, then turned himself in. Families faced heartbreak, often hiding the fact their loved ones were disabled. Japan's stigma kept the victims' names private, and the crime wasn't called a hate crime. In 2020, Satoshi was sentenced to death. He showed no remorse, even biting off part of his finger in a strange apology. Now he waits in prison. The tragedy exposed deep biases in Japan, raising urgent questions about how society treats disabled people. The hope remains that someday, this horror will lead to real change. The Okinawa Tragedy. Beneath the sun-soaked beaches and laid-back vibes of Okinawa, a dark story unfolded that would rock the island to its core. Known for its tropical beauty and unique blend of Japanese and Western influences, Okinawa is a place where locals and tourists alike come to unwind. But behind the palm trees and sandy shores, tension simmers, especially with nearly a quarter of the island taken up by American military bases, a legacy stretching back to World War II. It was in the city of Uruma that 20-year-old Riena Shimabukuro lived her quiet, hard-working life. Admired for her determination and gentle spirit, Riena dreamed of a big family and was building a future with her boyfriend Hinata. Their days were filled with routine, work during the week, and precious moments together on weekends. But in April of 2016, everything changed. One mild evening, Rena slipped on her red sneakers and black parka, heading out for a walk along the canal. She messaged Hinata, promising to be back later. As the hours ticked by, Hinata's worry grew. By morning, Rena was still missing. The search began, friends took to social media, police combed the area, and rumors flew through the close-knit community. A crucial break came when police traced Rena's phone to an industrial area near the canal. Surveillance footage revealed a red SUV acting suspiciously. The car belonged to Kenneth Shinzo, a 32-year-old U.S. Marine stationed at Kadena Air Base. Kenneth's troubled past and erratic behavior raised alarms, but he denied everything until DNA evidence told a different story. Faced with the truth, Kenneth confessed, leading investigators to a lonely wooded area where Rena's body was found, hidden in a discarded suitcase. The island mourned as the heartbreaking details emerged. Kenneth had stalked, attacked, and killed Rena, then tried to carry on as if nothing had happened. The tragedy sparked outrage across Okinawa, reigniting fierce debate over the U.S. military presence. Thousands took to the streets, demanding justice and change. Rena's story became a symbol, her memory a call for a safer, more peaceful island. The Kawasaki stabbings! A peaceful morning in Kawasaki was shattered in the blink of an eye, leaving a nation stunned and hearts heavy. This is the story of Ryuichi Iwasaki, a man whose life spiraled into darkness, bringing tragedy to the streets of Japan. Growing up, Ryuichi's life was anything but stable. His parents split when he was just 4, and he bounced between relatives, never quite finding his place. School was a blur, friendships were fleeting, and after graduation, he drifted through factory jobs and late-night security shifts. As years passed, Ryuichi's world shrank. He became what's known in Japan as a hikikomori, a social shut-in, rarely leaving his room, lost in video games and manga, while his aging aunt and uncle cared for him. By the time he hit his 50s, Ryuichi was completely isolated. He avoided the outside world, barely spoke to his family, and ignored every attempt to help him rejoin society. His relatives hoped he'd step up and help as they grew older, but Ryuichi only retreated further. Neighbors noticed his odd behavior, and tension simmered behind closed doors. Then came May 28, 2019. For the first time in weeks, Ryuichi left his house early. He greeted neighbors, something he never did. At Noborito Station, school children lined up for their buses, laughter filling the air. Suddenly, Ryuichi appeared, knife in hand. He attacked without warning, targeting children and adults alike. Panic erupted. Within seconds, he had wounded 19 people, including 17 kids. 2 lives were lost that day, a beloved father and a young student. Ryuichi's rampage ended as quickly as it began. He turned the knife on himself, collapsing before police could intervene. The aftermath was pure chaos. Ambulances rushed to the scene, families searched for loved ones, and the entire country mourned. Investigators found multiple knives, revealing that Ryuichi had planned this horror for months. Japan, a nation known for safety and order, was left in shock. The Kawasaki stabbing sparked national debate about mental health, social isolation, and the hikikomori phenomenon. Ryuichi's story became a chilling lesson in how loneliness and despair can explode into violence, leaving scars that may never heal. The bloody obsession of Yuka Takaoka. A neon-lit love turned into a living nightmare, one bloody, unforgettable night in Tokyo. It all started in October 2018. 21-year-old Yuka Takaoka was living her best double life in Shinjuku, Tokyo's sleepless entertainment district. By day, she was quiet and polite. By night, she ran a hostess club, serving drinks and smiles to lonely men under glowing lights. She had recently left university behind and slipped fully into the nightlife. But Yuka didn't just love cosplay. She was obsessed with yandere characters, sweet girls who'd do anything for love, even kill. That fantasy became all too real when she met 20-year-old Phoenix Luna, a rising star in a nearby host club. He was charming, stylish, and popular with women, exactly the kind of man who doesn't go unnoticed. They clicked fast, bonding over the late-night world they both lived in. But things got intense. Quickly, Yuka grew obsessed. She stalked his phone, watched his every move. Eventually, she paid over $9,000 a month just to buy out his time, ensuring he didn't spend it with other women. That wasn't romance, that was control. Then came May 23, 2019. Phoenix dropped by Yuka's place after a long night shift. He was tired, ran a bath, and knocked out. As he slept, Yuka scrolled through his phone and found photos with another woman. Rage took over. She wasn't just angry, she snapped. Phoenix woke up to a nightmare, a sharp pain in his stomach. He looked down, there was a knife lodged in him. Yuka was standing over him. He shoved her, bleeding heavily, and ran. Down the hallway, into the elevator, collapsing in the lobby, barely clinging to life. Yuka calmly followed. She sat next to him, lit a cigarette, and made a phone call, surrounded by blood. She'd even written, "I love you," over and over on the floor in his blood. Police arrived. She smiled as they cuffed her. Her reason? If I killed him, we could be together. Phoenix miraculously survived. He spent a month in critical condition, but lived and forgave her. He even asked the judge for leniency. Yuka was sentenced to just 3 years and 6 months. Fans online called her the real-life yandere, raised thousands for her, and treated her like a tragic heroine. She walked free in May 2023. The Kyoto Animation Massacre. It was a quiet morning in Kyoto, until one man turned it into a nightmare. Kyoto Animation, or KyoAni, had become a beloved name in the anime world. Founded in 1981, it was known not just for beautiful stories like Clannad and A Silent Voice, but for treating its artists with care. Unlike many studios, they paid salaries, trained staff in-house, and focused on passion over deadlines. But in 2019, that bright future was destroyed by one man's rage. Shinji Aoba, born in 1978 in Saitama, lived a life filled with anger and isolation. After a tough childhood and prison time for armed robbery in 2012, he became reclusive. By his 40s, he was unemployed, alone, and obsessed with anime. Between 2017 and 2018, he submitted stories to KyoAni's annual writing contest, but both were rejected. His response wasn't disappointment, it was fury. Convinced the studio had stolen his ideas, Shinji snapped. On July 18, 2019, he pushed a trolley full of gasoline into KyoAni's Studio One. He screamed, "You will die," before igniting the fuel. Within seconds, the entire building was an inferno. 36 people died. 34 more were injured. Many couldn't escape in time. Some were found piled near a rooftop door that wouldn't open. Shinji fled, badly burned, but was caught nearby. His reason? He believed the studio plagiarized his story. Specifically, a basic supermarket scene. Police found 6 knives on him, ready in case the fire failed. Doctors gave him a 1% chance of survival, but he lived thanks to Japan's first full-body artificial skin graft. After a psychological evaluation, it was confirmed. He was sane when he did it. In May 2020, he was finally arrested, and in 2024, the verdict came. Guilty on all counts. The punishment? Death. One man's obsession took 36 lives, wounded dozens more, and shocked a nation. But justice at last was delivered. The Japanese tycoon hunted in the dark. It starts in the quiet towns of England and ends in a nightmare hidden beneath concrete in Japan. Lucy Blackman had a bright future. Born on September 1st, 1978, in the English countryside, she was the eldest of 3. Her parents' divorce pushed Lucy, her mother, and siblings to Kent, a historic spot now known more for wine than war. From a young age, Lucy was full of life, laughter, and ambition. Organized, sharp, and graceful, she later landed a dream job as a flight attendant with British Airways. But the skies wore her down. Constant travel, low pay, and rising debts drained her spirit. That's when Lucy and her close friend Louise took a leap. Tokyo, a city of neon dreams, ancient tradition, and mysterious charm. They'd work as hostesses, not in the Western sense, but in Japan's unique nightlife world. Hostess clubs, or kabakura, pay women to entertain and chat with male customers. No stripping, no funny business, just high heels, smiles, and drinks. In May 2000, Lucy arrived in Tokyo. She found an apartment in Roppongi, the city's pulsing heart of nightlife, and began working at Club Casablanca. It seemed harmless. But then came July 1st. That afternoon, Lucy dressed up for a client, Dohan, a pre-shift dinner date. He promised her a phone and a fancy meal. She messaged Louise 3 times that day. Her final words, "I'll be back in half an hour." She never returned. Days passed. Police shrugged. Then a strange call. "Lucy has joined a cult," the voice claimed. She was training in Chiba, but Lucy's family wasn't buying it. Her sister and ex-boyfriend flew to Tokyo. The media exploded. Even Prime Minister Tony Blair got involved. Weeks later, a disturbing pattern emerged, and a suspect, Joji Obara. Rich, handsome, dangerous. He drugged and assaulted multiple women. Then came the discovery: a body buried under concrete by the sea. Long blonde hair. It was Lucy. The man who killed her was already in custody and still denying everything. Despite overwhelming evidence, receipts, calls, witness sightings, DNA, he was found not guilty at first. But justice came back swinging. This is not just a crime. It's haunting, and it's all caught on camera, in shadows, in silence, in Tokyo's darkest corners. But serious crimes don't just happen in Japan. Here's a lineup of real crimes caught on camera from all around the world. Road rage escalates into deadly 11-shot shooting. This isn't your everyday traffic dispute. It's a wild, heart-pounding showdown that escalated into chaos on the highway. It all started when Popper, driving a white Toyota Corolla, abruptly changed lanes and cut off Rene Suarez, who was behind the wheel of a black Honda Civic. Suarez wasn't having any of it. He slammed on his accelerator, tailgating Popper while honking and flashing his lights like a man on a mission. Things quickly spiraled. Popper slammed on his brakes without warning, forcing Suarez to swerve dangerously close to another car. Then Suarez threw a water bottle at Popper's passenger window, the loud bang snapping the tension to another level. Popper's instincts kicked in, and he genuinely believed he was under attack. Without hesitation, Popper reached under his seat, grabbed his gun from the holster, and rolled down his window. Suarez had already pulled up beside him on the left. That's when Popper fired, 11 shots ripping through the air, smashing the windshield, denting the door, and puncturing the tire of Suarez's car. Suarez didn't stick around. He sped away and immediately called 911, adrenaline pumping. Popper pulled over as well, claiming he acted in self-defense, terrified for his life. What makes this story even more gripping is the dashcam footage Popper's lawyer shared with the media. It's raw, intense, and cinematic, capturing the scene from 4 different angles. Inside Popper's car, behind his vehicle, behind Suarez's car, and from the side of the highway. You see Popper, calm and focused, taking aim and firing. You hear the gunshots and the crash of breaking glass. Suarez is desperate to escape, weaving through the chaos. It's a real-life action thriller unfolding on a busy road, showing how quickly a moment of anger can spiral into something terrifying. British woman's grim disappearance. Some stories hit harder than others, and this one is chilling from start to finish. Lorraine Cox was a 32-year-old woman who vanished one night in September 2020 after a night out with friends in Exeter. What started as a mysterious disappearance quickly turned into a nightmare. Azam Mangori, a 24-year-old man from Dartmouth, was later found guilty of her murder, and a grim cover-up that followed. He didn't just kill Lorraine, he kept her body in his flat for an entire week before dismembering her. Her remains were found stuffed in bin bags, dumped in an alley behind his flat, and scattered in woodlands nearly 6 miles away. Mangori had followed Lorraine through the streets and convinced her to come up to his flat above a kebab shop. An Iraqi Kurd denied asylum back in December 2018. Mangori told the court he panicked because he feared deportation, but his story was full of lies. He claimed Lorraine drank spirits and smoked a mysterious drug in his room before passing out and dying. The prosecutor, Simon Laws, called him a fluent and determined liar, revealing that Mongi had smothered her with a t-shirt after the murder. To cover his tracks, Mangori used Lorraine's SIM card to send messages to her family and friends, trying to make it look like she was still alive. But the truth was far darker. In the days before her disappearance, Mangori searched for videos on amputation and was caught on security cameras buying bin bags, tape, a suitcase, and even an air purifier to hide the smell. He even looked up how to dig a grave by hand. The careful planning made the crime all the more horrifying, but justice caught up with him in the end. Daylight robbery, Shocks Bay area. Chaos hit the Wellspring Pharmacy in broad daylight, caught in crystal-clear video footage. A gang of thieves tore through the shelves and counters like a storm, grabbing whatever they could get their hands on. The Oakland Police Department revealed this pharmacy robbery was just one of nearly 24 robberies and critical incidents that unfolded that very day. No suspects have been identified yet, and the police are tight-lipped about what exactly was stolen. But this pharmacy heist wasn't an isolated event. It was part of a wild wave of flash mob robberies that shook several high-end stores across the Bay Area over the weekend. The Friday before, a massive group smashed their way into a Louis Vuitton store in San Francisco's Isco district. They broke windows and emptied the shelves of luxury goods. 8 people were arrested after that bold looting. The trouble didn't stop there. The very next night, about 80 people, masked and armed with crowbars, stormed a Nordstrom in Walnut Creek. They shattered glass doors and windows, grabbing merchandise from racks and shelves with reckless abandon. These flash mob robberies have sparked outrage among local officials, business owners, and residents. Everyone's left wondering how safe the retail world really is in the Bay Area, especially during the busy holiday season. Experts suggest several reasons behind these brazen attacks: economic struggles, social media hype, or just pure opportunism. Meanwhile, others point fingers at lenient laws and lighter penalties for shoplifting and theft, saying these policies might be encouraging criminals to act with little fear of serious consequences. This chaotic string of robberies is a wake-up call for the community and law enforcement alike, as the hunt for justice and stronger protection continues. The world caught on camera doesn't lie. Sometimes the darkest moments happen when we least expect them. From Japan's quiet streets to far corners of the globe, these real crimes remind us how fast things can change. Security cameras keep us safe and show the raw truth. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more gripping stories. Stay safe and stay tuned for what's next.